those cow farts are dissipating off of the land in a way that's not causing harm to the planet. I mean, look at all these power poles. We gotta do something, folks. We gotta fix this problem. Overpopulation. Alright. We are breaking ground because this is the first TylerBloyer.com drive and talk that you're witnessing. And typically with the walk and talks, live streams, update videos, sit and talks, car talks, but we have not attempted the drive and talk. And out here, it gets pretty windy. I'm just gonna turn around on this highway. I'm not even gonna give away my location. My phone's already giving away my location to the government. But, you know, what we're gonna talk about today is a little bit of an idea about hierarchy and people's. So today I'm going to be looking at the road. Sorry about my camera skills in the car, and I'm sorry about the shakiness. There's always some downside anytime filming in a new environment, right? And this downside is my setup is shaky on the dash. But when I did a couple tests now, it looked alright. So now, see, when people think about anarchy, which I've broken down as, you know, part of a sort of a false dialectic, really, you know, there is a master, and it's part of like a micro-macrocosm relationship between you and reality and natural law. And so, if I accept the motto and the sentiment of the anarchist crying out against hierarchical tyranny and tyrants and dictatorship. But again, you know, it's a false dichotomy, it's a false dialectic, because really, you know, in order for that position to exist, they do have a master. You know, in order for you to be crying out against it, and we all know that the thing that you fight against is what you end up manifesting. What I have to do here is try not to miss my turn. So I don't want to stay on this road. There's another road that I want to go off up here on the right. I was seeking out a walk and talk place, but I said, you know what? This is a great day for a drive. It's beautiful. I'm always going to be fighting that damn wind out there. So we'll just, you know, drive back home, get ready for a nice Sunday while we do a nice drive and talk. Here's my turn. So, you know, you get in these dichotomies of, so that's what I need to point out is like, it's important to know that hierarchy itself, I don't think is bad. And I think this is where a lot of the kind of more simple-minded activists and rebellious type people are getting it confused, that they end up stripping down to like zero hierarchy is what we need, and complete decentralization of everything, and just almost like an anarcho-primitivism is what ends up coming out of that. Now, I'm not against that way of living or being or thinking necessarily. I just find that it's flawed in the real goal of what they're trying to carry out, you know, which ends up really being like self-mastery and responsibility. These are the types of things that come up on the journey that end up toppling what the people are trying to topple: tyrannical tyrants, tyrannical governments, which is what we have now. So that is a good distinction to know that there are certain types of hierarchy that can work very well and have worked very well in history and are working very well right now, without force, coercion, you know, mind control, brainwashing people, you know, cult-like mentality. This type of stuff, you know, yeah, that's what we got here with our de facto state of the government as it is. but that hierarchy is corrupt completely to the core. From the beginning was started out. Democracy itself is a stage set up to fool the audience into thinking that there's some kind of power in the crowd, when the crowd never had. The people have never had the power. We the people has never been the slaves that occupy the land mass of the United States of America. They've always been, since the Constitution was written, treated as cattle. There are no rights granted, first of all, by pieces of paper, but anyways, protected by these ideas in the Constitution. It's a joke, folks. It's a trick. You're not the capitalized people. Those are the elite, the people in Congress, the people who sit behind the power of the throne are the people that put a set of documents in place and a set of, rules and, basically just declarations, because it's all just, men creating artifice. It's all fake. It's not real. When men try to create law, and when I say men, I mean humans. I'm including everyone. This is pretty interesting. There's like some big crater over there. I don't know if you can see with the sun and the light. It's like that guy swooped up that land really quick. He's like, I'm gonna go check out what's in that crater. But anyway, yeah, so it's never that just to be clear about that. And that takes a while to sink in for the brainwashed slaves who've always thought that they lived in a place where there were these constitutional protections and things like that. But I assure you that in the end result of the investigation of who the people are, it's not you. You are basically treated lawfully, or in their legalese, as a lab rat. No better than an animal who's been in a lab with scientific experiment. And that's basically what all this is a big experiment on you. And there's another experiment of freedom going on. So that's good news. There is a real freedom movement. There is real human freedom occurring and unfolding. That is the grand new territory to explore, and it's the ongoing battle. But again, going back to hierarchy and just being against purely hierarchy is, I think, missing the mark, because you're not getting that there are actually, good types of hierarchy that can be adhered to by the people that are going to adhere to a certain type of hierarchy in a way that's still quite decentralized, yet key decision points for certain types of functions need to be made in a hierarchical way. As Jordan Peterson says, it should be the most intellectual, The most intellectual should rise to the top. Those with the most capacity. It's a Jungian thing. We have to see the Jungian archetypical, allegorical, biblical references here. And, even in the Bible, if you break that down as mainly allegorized natural law, with Jesus Christ being natural law personified. Here's the other turn I didn't want to miss. It's pretty cool over here. There's like a lot of people living free off the land. Not free, but they be looking pretty free out here. These people, they got land and animals and lots of wood and plants and things. Nobody bothering them about wearing a mask and nothing down here. Yeah, I mean, it's going back to, hopefully it would be the experts. Now, right now, the experts are being touted, as an impossible thing that you should follow. Well, which expert should we follow? And this scientific cult, the scientific dictatorship cult of consensus reality is completely false, obviously. There is no such thing as consensus science. There are no such thing as all the experts say. There is the truth. There are facts. There is the scientific method. But the news isn't telling you the truth. Bill Gates and all his funded apparatus of the WHO, and keep in mind that the second largest contributor to the World Health Organization, the WHO, is Bill and Melinda Gates. The people who fund the lefty radio NPR are Bill and Melinda Gates. The people who are behind all the news and the news networks and things like that are figureheads such as Bill and Melinda Gates, who represent pharmaceutical and GMO and Monsanto and Bayer and IBM and Microsoft interests. Well, he stepped down from Microsoft. He didn't step down from writing software, let me tell you. And when you put that link together, that the vaccines are not going to be like some dead virus or a little bit of this virus put in so you can have some. It's going to be software. That's the thing. He didn't stop developing software. So now you're talking about transhumanism. You're talking about taking this android and putting it inside. No one's talking about it like that. But that's the way I would like to frame the choice. I'm fine with it being there. I'm fine with the phone being there. It's fine outside. It doesn't need to go inside. And it definitely doesn't need to be mandated. What kind of things need to be mandated? If something's a good idea, I'll adopt it. If it makes sense and I want to do it and I want to decide to do something, or I'm responsible for other people and they don't even know how to contextualize this, they have no idea how to make that decision, and you're going to mandate that? Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Well, let's see how that goes. Have fun with that. Well, you who are going to try to mandate that and bring it down the pipe, the ones who end up following the orders, good luck with that. I can't go in your store or your, government facility. Fuck your store. Fuck your government facility. Fuck your social place where I can't be because I don't have the proper medical history. There's always another way, as we discussed in the last video. There's always an option. You always have a choice. There is no such thing as you were forced to do it, because you can always choose not to. At this point, like Richard Grove is always saying, there's still a question mark on the keyboard, so it still means we're free. There's still the ability to ask questions and create space, as Viktor Frankl would say. Creating the space so that you can make the proper discernment is always the responsibility, going back to that factor of the individual. Now, notice that I don't need to use all the cult, words like voluntarism and the non-aggression principle and the trivium and anarchy. That's what I've been saying. We need to upgrade our language on how we address these issues. Otherwise, and I don't mean to be offensive, but it basically is like a child fighting against a parent. And I don't know, like a couple years ago, Cassandra and I were walking in her dad's neighborhood, and we saw this teenager arguing with his parents about, they were being overbearing. And I know all this because it was like out in the open outside, and we were like witnessing this like child rebelling, and it just sounded so. I mean, you just wanted to slap the kid. You just wanted to reach over there and say, "You little motherfucker, you have no fucking idea." Maybe he had some good points, but the point is that it's basically what a lot of people are doing is like lying on the ground and stomping their feet up and down on the ground. I'm trying to bring it up out of that. Like, that's what they want. They want the plebs arguing with each other, fighting about stupid things like wearing a mask or not wearing a mask. And then the guys that are against the mask make funny little videos about masks. I mean, who cares about that shit? All you're doing is feeding back to Big Brother. I mean, the lockdown is mental. The lockdown is a psychological phenomenon. Again, people have a hard time grasping these concepts. But just like the wall being talked about for years and years and years, that was a psychological phenomenon. The wall was already there. It was a Clinton wall. The Clintons funded the wall back in the 90s. If you go back and look, you can find Bill Clinton being super concerned about illegal immigration. And, putting down massive funds to fund the Clinton wall. And I'm not going to get political. I don't really give a shit about left and right and all that. The point is that for them to bring it back up at the time they did, they are psychologists and they are occultists and they are screwing with you constantly, 24/7. The signal never stops. And the wall and Trump being in there with this bullshit and everybody getting all mad about it on the left and everybody on the right having to defend it. And now look at it. Now Trump's militarizing he's, what do you call it? Like, what I almost want to say motivated, but it's, the word will come to me here in a minute. He's maximizing, he's, what is the word? Mobilizing, that's the word. He's mobilizing the military to bring all the vaccinations to you. How conservative is that? He's not, he's just a puppet, dude. He's just a figurehead. Same with Gil Bates. They're just lower hanging, people on the totem pole. They're not the end all be all of the hierarchy. So even fighting against Gil Bates there, they're just messing with you. The lockdown is you. You're locked down. Your mind is locked down. You are in the lockdown. We are getting into my neighborhood here. How long have we been talking here? What the hell's going on? Thought I gave myself more time than that. Getting a little excited this morning, man. I thought I was too tired to do a walk and talk. Right now I'm feeling pretty good. So the lockdown is, again, it's real. That's the part, that confuses people. It's not like I'm saying the lockdowns aren't real, but what they're talking about with that phrase and that word is you and your mind is in a cage, and they've got you there. They've got you in the lockdown, in the vice. I think, last time I did a walk and talk, I said I felt like my mind was in a vice with this COVID thing, It was like that was the weapon. That was the virus. It was the information. It was weaponized, structured information in a way that it was an attack. It was like going at the linchpin of not only like your stability and your mental psychology, and then just pounding it in there, but the economy, the way of life, the new normal. Yeah, it's new because everything got totally demolished. But again, it's mental. It's not real, and it's not lockdown if you just never heard of it. It's locked. Your mind is locked down, and you're locked down because of the information that's been allowed to infiltrate us. Nothing changed or happened as far as people dying on the planet. And people are always going to be dying. There's always going to be a problem with death and virus and disease, dis-ease, especially with the technologies that are around us and the environment that we've created. That's what my son, before all this even was happening, was like super concerned about 5G. I think like somehow he got like into the YouTube loop and it started suggesting a bunch of 5Gs. It might have been on some kind of YouTube I was on, or I don't know. He caught wind of a conversation I had. To me, the 5G is like one aspect of our toxic environment. And this seems to be more or less what's happening. Is that the environment itself has become so toxic that, yeah, people are having a lot of weird issues with like breathing, and their bodies are expressing certain disease. Okay, let's see if we can go down here. I haven't gone down this way yet, but I want to. So when we've, and that's what the cancer is and stuff like that, right? Like all the rise in cancer, which is more alarming than this C-19 bullshit. Look at all the people dying of cancer, dude. You ever watch somebody die of cancer? Fuck. I would rather die of coronavirus. If it ends up me on a hospital bed on a ventilator and I run out of oxygen, that's way better than dying of, let's say, like prostate cancer. Good Lord, you're dying of morphine. You're not dying of cancer. A bunch of people out here trying to be free, overpopulating the planet. Damn animals. So yeah, the media, the mania, they've induced a lockdown, and it's a mental thing. And a lot of people it didn't work on. And now they're being like socially shamed. Going out too early. You're at the parks. Oh my God. All the locked down people who are mentally in a cage will now, on the second wave, you're gonna see it. You thought Karens were bad, dude. These people are gonna be like Nazis. You're gonna see it. And that's a whole nother thing to prepare for, is the second wave. All that means is they've got another set of information that they're gonna unleash. That's what this is. The Info War. Buy my vitamins right now. Support my cause. I'm gonna eat my neighbors. Just kidding. Oh, it's so fucking weird, but that's what it is, man. And this is just a break. Like what's happening right now, where they're letting us back out, I mean, look at the language. Who lets you out of your house? What the hell? What's wrong with you? You actually listened when somebody said you couldn't leave out of your house? I mean, we took precautions. Me and my family we're not, going to ignore if there's an issue. I don't have enough information. I still don't have enough information. Right now, this is just loosely me discussing how, I feel. That's the whole point of TylerBloyer.com. Is for me to be able to just say it how I see it. And if I'm wrong, I'll come back and correct it. And that could be a 30-year process. In fact, it's a lifetime process. And there's nothing weird about me giving my opinion about things. And I'm leaving the topic open for discussion and saying, I don't know. I don't have all the facts. I don't really understand exactly what's happening with everything. But these are the ways that I perceive how it all kind of works. So that's all. Whatever. You don't agree? Turn it off and leave. Or email me why you don't. Or just, that's it. I don't care. Don't do anything. Whatever. But again, like, somebody told you not to go somewhere, to leave your house, or do these things, and you listened, and then you waited until they said, you can go back outside now. What the hell? Who waits, for other people to let them know what they can do and what they cannot do? What kind of programming goes on that is the state that somebody's in? Lockdown. That's what it is. They're locked down. Mentally in a cage. With a wall that's divided everything into these false dichotomies. So you just end up wasting your life promoting the death cult, because that's what this is. The Malthusians were wrong, and they're still going. I mean, Malthus was wrong on so many levels. But then, again, going back to, like, people are going to die, and it's not, going to be a totally safe environment. I'm sorry to tell you. But what people are listening to, that's the weapon. That's harmful. That's harming them. That's going to kill more people. This information, this weapon, that's harming more people. What you're doing and participating in with the mask thing and all that, that's harming people. That's actually harming people. People are not mentally well right now. They have been dismantled, disfigured, dismembered, and harmed with this information. So, it's good to bring awareness to that. And it's been a good drive and talk. Really happy with the production value here. Sorry, I've been a little silly today. I have a lot more to say on this. I had more notes. But I do think I'm actually just going to call it there. What I'm trying to contemplate lately is how to kind of do this more frequently. Believe it or not, I've become extremely busy these days, and my calendars are literally like, I'm scheduling down to like half-hour, 15-minute segments now. I have my days planned out next Tuesday. So if I sleep in on a Sunday, that's why sometimes these videos don't get done. And lately, part of this schedule is Saturday night fire chats with friends, and that's kind of cut into my Sunday morning a little bit. So I'm rescheduling and things a little bit right now. Probably not a big deal to you listening. You're not like super concerned about my schedule. Here's the home sweet home here. But, I like to hold myself accountable. I think that it's nobody likes to have something that they've gone and subscribed to or taken the time to drop their email in, and then that person just like doesn't do good content or doesn't follow through, or like, what's the point in that? It's just a waste of time. So to be more consistent, and within the Stones Media Network, again, was brushed off, brought up out of the ashes, polished off, and now we're putting that name onto the production company. Sounds weird, sounds esoteric, sounds unmarketable. That's not the point of Within the Stones Media Network. Within the Stones Media Network is there to produce information that counters the battle that we've been talking about. So you can go check out some of the early work we did talking about eugenics and natural law, social Darwinism. All the things that I've been talking about today a lot more loosely are discussed in depth. I just shared in my Discord server a 5.5-hour podcast that I did back in like 2014-ish. All those got like taken down off Podomatic and all these other things that they were hosted on, and I ended up putting them all on the YouTube. and just some weird channel out there that has my old podcasts that I still host on tylerbloyer.com. And then so within the Stones Media Network is going to be a broadcasting company, a publishing company, production company, basically media production, assisting others to produce their own media while we, fire up the burners again and start to produce media that helps, people understand the battle that they're in. Because you are in a battle. You are at war. You're at physical war now, folks. People, this is a physical, mental battle that you're in the middle of. And you have the opportunity to change the tide, to change the way that it unfolds. And that's an exciting time to be alive. And if you can't find motivation in that, then you're locked down. All right, this is Tyler Bloyer, out.